Hey, Sandy and David. This is the first of what I plan to do every week, and that's send out a short video announcement just to say hello, offer some personal interaction with you as best as I can, let you know how I'm doing, and then show you what's going on for the week. So, like I mentioned in my written announcement earlier this week, I've just greatly enjoyed your engagement. I appreciate the way that you are thoughtful and thorough in your responses to the discussion boards and in your first assignment that I just graded this morning. So I appreciate that. I look forward to all of the wisdom and experience that you will continue to offer to this course as experienced nurses. So I'm going to share my screen with you so we can jump into Canvas, and I can just make sure that we're all on the same page for what's happening next week. So here we go. And can you believe that we are already going to be jumping into week 3? It's pretty crazy. So we're wrapping up here with your application assignment, finishing your discussion, which I have jumped in on as well, and then your first Glass Castle reflection. Remember that you can work ahead in Glass Castle if you have some extra time and want to work ahead on that. So week 3 is a big week for us. We're going into epidemiology and communicable diseases. This is really, epidemiology is the star of the show as we are living through this pandemic. So this shows you that we have 3 assignments due for the week. These are all of your expected learning outcomes. That just kind of helps you hone in on what I want you to be focusing on. We're doing a discussion where we are analyzing current county data regarding the coronavirus. And I just kind of want you to be exploring that and answering the questions in the discussion prompt on that. You will need to look at the epidemiology materials first, which is at the top of the required resources page. So here's the resources page for the week. As always, I put this in what I intend to be chronological order. I kind of explain. I usually want you to watch the lecture video first, and then the slides are there for you to go back and take more time to review. I often have links that I do not click on in my video because I'm trying to keep my videos short. And so I want you to go back and kind of pour over those slides in more detail and click on the links there. This is an excellent YouTube video that will help you understand some major concepts in epidemiology. I've watched it numerous times, and usually my students say the same thing. Then there's a whole lot I want you to review on immunity and vaccines. You have an application assignment next week that looks at providing some sort of vaccine education, science-based, of course. That will be a breeze for you, David, I realized. And this final article here is actually really interesting because it's a New York Times article that basically describes all the different vaccines that are for the coronavirus that are in development right now and gives a brief description as to how they're being developed all very different ways. And so that goes hand in hand with this fact sheet here where I want you, this is from the CDC, that goes over the basic types of vaccines and how they work. I don't expect that you'll keep that memorized forever, but it really is important to have a basic understanding of the different types of vaccines that are out there because they're not all the same, and we wouldn't give all of them to certain immunocompromised patients. Then we have a lecture that does not have a video that is on several important communicable diseases, namely STIs and TB. And these are both very, very prevalent in San Diego County. So I want you to be really taking in kind of the enormity of those conditions and what we need to know as we continue to work with our San Diego populations regarding the alarming rates of STIs and the major prevalence of TB, especially in our immigrant populations here in San Diego County. Lastly, there's a few really just helpful things that tie up all of what we learn about in epidemiology and communicable diseases and put it together. So there's this 8-minute video created by a Yale University graduate student who gets on a whiteboard and just kind of talks about the pathophys of COVID or coronavirus, and then all the way through to the epidemiology stuff as well. So it's really fascinating. I absolutely loved it. I sent it out to every nursing professor that I work with. And then this blog post is actually an infectious disease professor that does a great job explaining what is required to create an infection and how we can navigate the reopening of our society by keeping his principles in mind. So lots of stuff, but really good, hopefully very interesting to you. So here's our discussion board for the week. The only thing that's not really in our materials that I ask about is the exponential curve, but that would be something that you might have already heard or read about and could easily look up. It goes along with the idea, are we flattening the curve, right? And then the next thing is this application activity. If you are the creative type or want to do something a little more creative, this is for you. So this is where I want you to create some sort of very simple educational tool that it might be useful in your own workplace with your own population, but something that really ties in the science and the significance of vaccines, so that all of the materials that you're using this week will help you do that. And you can create a simple flyer or just a simple summary if you're not into creating and you want to type it out in a Word document, but you could also do a video or anything else that seems creative. So have fun with that one. I just want to make sure that something that's really important to me is that we are learning how to understand the science regarding public health, but then how can we translate that to our patients? And as we're seeing, and David, I know that you're a big part of this, there is a growing anti-vax movement. And so we need, as nurses, we need to be able to find really effective ways to communicate the hard science and the significance of keeping up our vaccination rates. The final thing for the week is our first exam. We have 2 exams. This is the first one, so it's covering all of the content from weeks 1 and 3. I posted it today, so it's ready to go for you. It's a Word document here, and I just ask that you fill it in and then submit it back as a PDF or Word document. My expectation is that most, if not all, of the material required for each question come from the content that I've already provided, whether it's lectures, videos, articles, websites, and that each answer should be 1-2 paragraphs at most, but most of them could probably be answered in a paragraph, so I'm not looking for lengthy papers for each answer. But I would like for you to cite your answers. You don't have to provide a reference page at the end, but if you do cite those sources, just so I know that it's that you're giving credit where credit is due. Um, Also, just want to let you know that I have graded your first application assignment. I grade all of your papers on an iPad with my iPad pencil. So I actually scribble in notes on your paper and provide feedback, provide corrections related to APA formatting, grammar, spelling, etc. I'm not marking you down for any of that on your application assignments. That's kind of just your feedback as we go, but those are things that I will be grading on your major assignments, so your paper, your presentation, and your health policy letter. So just trying to help guide you along in that. And then I leave audio comments. It's easy for me to do that, and I feel like it's just another way to connect with you with my voice. So I hope and pray that you are both doing well. I hear that the beaches are opening up a little more next week. That's exciting. So no parking lots though. So anyways, I hope that you have a lovely weekend with family or friends or whoever you choose to be with. And as always, I'm available to chat on Tuesdays, my Zoom office hour from 4 to 5. Let me know if you have any questions and have a great weekend.